Jacob, oh yeah, I see you. Yahashava Shalom Barak. Justin Flo, I see you. I want to thank you all for coming to the party. I do apologize for the silence. I was doing a sound check and was unable to get a background app to comply. That's all right. We are going to move forward. We have a party planned and in store for today. Today's party is brought to you by Yahashava Hamashia, the Student's Black Book. Leland Cohn, I see you. What's up? Yahashava Shalom Barak. Allahu Assalamu Alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Father's peace, blessings, and mercy be upon you, your family, and your circle. Who knows about Yahashava Hamashia? I'm starting a little bit early because, like I said, I was doing a sound check. Normally, we start at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to discuss ethics and entrepreneurship. We get together Sunday through Friday. We have 10 different special interest groups that we speak on. Today's party is brought to you by the special interest group Yahashava Hamashia, the Student's Black Book. Give me just a moment. We are started in YouTube land. I have to also get TikTok land started so we can move forward with this party. Thank you all for being here.
So let's stop pretending religion has its own nervous system. I'm talking about gospel. The lyrics might be holy, but the psychology is still human. And even
Three, two, one, go. Hashem Yahavalahim, Shalamat Barak, Allahu Assalamu alaikum, wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Our Father's peace, blessings, and mercy be upon everyone who catches this message. It's time for a party. Today's party is brought to you by Yahashava Hamashia, the Student's Black Book. Today's party is called Have You Ever Met a Hebrew Christian? Straight nose shooter. Have you ever seen a Hebrew Christian? Y'all give me a moment. We're gonna wait for some more people to come in before we start the party. Give some familiar names and faces a chance to show up so we can all meet and greet with each other. If you're wondering what you're looking at, that's going to be part of the story. I'm a part of a team who draws comic books. We didn't go and get special stationery. We went and bought composition notebooks because we weren't just drawing pictures. We didn't want to make sure that the pictures were immaculate. We had a story to tell. It's another one of those times where YouTube screen is actually showing something different from TikTok. Same notebook, you're just seeing two different sides of the pages. Delicia Lagos, I see you. Bienvenido. Hashem Yahavalahim, Shalamat Barak, Allahu Assalamu alaikum, wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Dilcia Lagos. Dil Keys. Our Father's peace, blessings, and mercy be upon you, your family, and your circle. Thank you for coming to the party. What do you know about ethics in entrepreneurship? What do you know about ethics? What do you know about being an entrepreneur? What do you know about making your everyday battle a battle against ignorance and indifference? Are you one who practices ignorance and indifference? A thought just occurred to me. I'm going to have to look up the phrase organic marketing strategies. I know how it applies today concerning the internet and approaching clientele or even just people with a product that you might want to promote. I understand how you can apply that today. However, what would have been organic marketing strategies in 1990 or 1970 or 1950? Victoria, I see you. Bienvenido. Welcome. Thank you for being here. Hashim Yahavalahim, Shalamat Barak, Allahu Assalamu Alaikum, wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. That's to you. That's also to Yosef, Arya, Aya. Hashim Yahavalahim, Shalamat Barak. Sapito Marro, bienvenido. Sapito Marro. New York baseball. Our Father's peace, blessings, and mercy be upon all of you. Thank you for coming through. We get together 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Sunday through Friday, to talk about ethics and entrepreneurship. We have 10 different special interest groups that we focus on. Each has their own day. So Monday through Friday, we have lined up by schedule each group so that we can speak on the different perspectives concerning organic marketing strategies. That's what made me think about it, is because, yes, we're talking about ethics and entrepreneurship, but we're also talking about how we can apply them. There are a lot of people on a lot of social media platforms who are doing a lot of talking. So much talking and not very much action. So much talking and not much walking. Not so much showing and proving. Anybody can sit in front of a camera and tell you 1,000 ideas all day. That doesn't improve our environment, our community, our society. That's just one person blowing hot air towards a screen. And then you have the audience who's feverishly replying comments back. Or someone gets invited to be part of the live broadcast, so their face is on the camera. Now you got two people who are either arguing with each other or arguing with the people in the comment section, and the social issues are still not solved. Where I come from, we don't spend a lot of time talking. There's too much to be done. Who paid attention in class when they were talking about the properties and forms of energy? You have kinetic energy and you have potential energy. You possess both faculties and forms. Turn your potential energy into kinetic energy. Turn your potential into something kinetic. We open up the social media platforms and all we're seeing is people arguing with each other. What potential is that? That's a potential for battle. Well, while you battle, who goes hungry? And you don't even get to feed yourself until after the battle. When you're battling, who really is fed? When you are battling, whose intellect gets fed? Whose soul gets fed? Whose body actually feels nourishment after a physical battle or a verbal battle, let alone a spiritual battle? People are primed for battling and forgot at the end of a battle, there's also a life that may end. People so focused on thinking that we've been saved and redeemed because one person died that we can just go about doing whatever. according to that particular contract, it means that you're supposed to do according to the rules that even that individual had to follow. You didn't die just so that you're okay to do whatever you want to. It was a blood oath. You all let these mortal men put me up here, and you say that you'd rather see me do this than show you the right way for the rest of my life. That's the oath. You sign and seal that. The man didn't climb up on the wood on his own. Today's party is brought to you by Yahashava Hamashia. Today's party is called, Have You Ever Seen a Hebrew Christian? Yeah, we're coming straight in for it. Everybody running around playing with words, passing the buck, standing on no responsibility because all you have to do is change up some definitions or change up somebody's perspective, their perception. Maybe their translation doesn't fit what modern people think. Yeah, recently at the beginning of every one of these broadcasts, yes, you are hearing a heavy chest being dragged around. Yes, you are. That's my sit-upon. The table that's holding up the two devices and the book that you're looking at sits about 4 feet across the room from where I normally sit. So every time I start up the broadcast, I have to move the chest that I'm sitting on. Akati Mavis, I see you. Z-Star the Creator, I see you. Herman Neal. Bobby. Daniel 2. Brigida. John Cusi. Adria Astorga. Slick Benny B. Daughter of something. Andy Diaz. Steffi. Bill. Barbara. Christofferson. Do you know Chris Christofferson? Mufasa. Live with Chewy. Now, there's actually a content creator on TikTok with the handle Chewbacca. I wonder if that's the same person. I like tuning in to that particular content creator. If it is, shouts out. Someone who does cover politics and social issues and things like that. I don't really have an interest in politics per se because I don't vote. By the time a politician or a lobbyist caught up with me, they would be asking me what I did last year, let alone what I did last week. So I don't really delve into politics too much. Try to do it on site with whoever is in front of me. Try to fix whatever is going on. What's the hot point? Let's fix it. Nestor, Jersey Girl. My name is Jeff. Hashem Yehav Elohim, Shalom Barak. Allahu Assalamu Alaikum, wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Our Father's peace, blessings, and mercy be upon you, your family, and your circle. That's to all of you. Thank you for being here. T. Reddington, Alita Jones, Quiet Storm, I see you all. Thank you for being here. Hashem Yahavalahim, Shalamat Barak. Allahu Assalamu Alaikum, Warahmatullahi Wabarakatuh. Our Father's peace, blessings, and mercy be upon all of you. Today's party is brought to you by Yahashava Hamashia, the Student's Black Book. Today's party is called, Have You Seen a Hebrew Christian? Have you ever heard of a Hebrew Christian? Batman, I see you. Mike Robertson, Alberto Luna, bienvenido, welcome. Hashem Yahavalahim, Shalamat Barak. Allahu Assalamu Alaikum, Warahmatullahi Wabarakatuh. Our Father's peace, blessings, and mercy be upon all of you. Thank you for coming to this party. Let's see here. How long have we been going? We've been going about 25 minutes. So, yeah, we're getting close to the time where we need to go ahead and start. So, I'll do the broad announcement one more time, and we can go ahead and dive in. We get together 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Sunday through Friday, to discuss ethics and entrepreneurship. I have discovered that I have 2 enemies that I battle. That's ignorance and indifference. So I use this platform, these live times, to discuss 10 different special interest groups and their perspective on organic marketing strategies. This is my way to combat ignorance and indifference. Joe, Dana Simon, Jolito de Tachi. Bienvenido. Hashem Yahavalahim, Shalamat Barak. Allahu Assalamu Alaikum, Warahmatullahi Wabarakatuh. Our Father's peace, blessings, and mercy be upon all of you. Thank you for being here. You've heard me mention organic marketing strategies. What is that? There's pay to play, and then there's organic, as far as marketing is concerned. You may have heard of organic food, organically grown vegetables. That basically means no pesticides, no extra chemicals, no strange growth techniques outside of what we already know as far as getting different genetic strains to grow. We can grow heirloom produce if we want red tomatoes with green stripes on the top. And then we want a red tomato that has slightly green spots instead of those stripes. And then we want a red tomato that has barely any green, and it'll be close to the stem. Now, all these are, once they become what we would call ripe. Granted, we're always going to be looking for a specific taste. And since we have a starter where the red tomato has green stripes on the top, we can slowly process to where we can have a consistent green tomato with the green spots on it. And then a consistent red tomato with the green spot on the top near where the vine is. We can make that happen without having to alter anything, except for just keep on reproducing those seeds according to what we need. They don't have to be genetically modified. We know how to do gardening techniques that don't involve surgically removing something and then putting something else in. We know how to graft a branch onto a tree. And most of the time, that's because we're grafting an orange branch from one tree to a more healthier tree. or whatever type of fruit or nut or whatever the case is, we found out that we can graft things in the plant world. Yet there's still a carry on and a carryover of the original genetic strain that was there. We're not trying to alter anything. See, that's an important concept for you to remember while I'm telling you to think about, have you ever met a Hebrew Christian? You ever seen one? You ever heard of one? Well, they come from the same book. Selah. Butterfly Candy. Misha J. Ryder. Nonsensei. Are you the sensei of nonsense? Ashy Bug. Susan Ison. Amy. Charles William. Hashem Yahweh Lahim Shalom Barak. Allahu Assalamu Alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Our Father's peace, blessings, and mercy be upon all of you. Thank you for being here. I'm not here to bash Christians, nor am I here to bash Hebrews, Muslims, or any particular religious order. I don't bash. That's not my way. That's not my modus operandi. Now, I'll ask you some questions, and I'll even shine a spotlight on something if necessary. If it looks a little too dark in the corner, I'll shine a spotlight on it so we can all see what's going on. But I'm not here to bash anything. I'm too inquisitive. By the time I get ready to bash something, it's because I've heard this voice bumping around in my brain that says, treat that situation just like Abraham treated the statues. It's an idolatrous moment. People worship and kowtow to things beyond just a statue, beyond just a symbol. People worship and kowtow to all kinds of things. So I spend my time checking that. It's not something that I am being paid to do by anyone. I was born with a curious nature. And on top of that, I found out when I was about 3 or 4 years old that I'm an avid reader, and so did the rest of my family. Because I didn't just read Cat in the Hat and Dr. Seuss books. I went beyond those real quickly once I saw that adults read books that didn't have pictures. Well, what's the point of reading with no pictures? If you read, the details tell your brain how to shape the picture of the story that you're reading. Instead of just looking at the letters and saying words, 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 those are details that paint the picture for your vision, so you don't have to have a picture right next to the page with a bunch of words. That's called comprehension. The writer in the process is trying to convey a message. Paint the most vivid, detailed picture as possible so you can place yourself in the moment. That's the point of reading. You read because the original person with the message is not there in front of you to tell you the message. Today, in modern times, people have gotten spoiled because you can turn on an electronic device and gain whatever information that you want within a matter of a fraction of seconds. A fraction of a second. The moment you type enter, after you have placed your query into a search engine and you hit enter next to that little magnifying glass, the results come back and it'll tell you these results came back in 0.062 of a second. Here's the first 20 to 50 results. Would you like more? You can get 50 answers in 0.062 seconds. You ask the average person as you walk up to them, how are you doing? It might take them 30 seconds to 5 minutes to let you know how they are doing. Times have changed. People haven't. If you walked up to somebody 2,000 years ago and asked them, how are you doing? It's going to take them 30 seconds to 5 minutes to tell you how they're doing. Then afterwards, if you ask them, well, hey, I got a question, and then you ask them the question, it's going to take them a certain amount of time for them to give you the answer once they process it. And then if they don't know, they're going to say, let's go to the library, or let's go find somebody else who has this information. That's 2,000 years ago. We can go back 4,000 years ago. And the funny thing is that modern people always want to tell you that the people in the past didn't have intelligence enough to have literature. They weren't writing. There wasn't mass production of books. There were scholars. A large amount of the things that were passed around for information were on an oratory basis. Someone said something, someone else heard it, remembered it, and then went and told somebody else. They quoted them. Oh, there's that name. You're back again. Those cursive names. What does that say? It says natto. Either says natto or nalo. One of those. Moises. Brother Raymond. NBA Sports. It's in the game. Janie. Mufasa. Tari. Cowboy. Greg Taylor. Claire. Artist. Tech Talk. Yellow Wolf's Unc T. Susan Ison. I saw you earlier. Hashem Yahweh Elohim. Shalamat Barak. Allahu Assalamu alaikum. Wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Father's peace, blessings, and mercy be upon all of you. Thank you for being here. You know, there's been several different forms of written language before books. Things written could be found on papyrus, paper, animal skin, or carved in clay or stone or wood. Stories that may have started in one region and were adapted in others and passed around to the point where people want to argue who has the original story, who has the point of origin where civilization began, who has the point of origin story where life began. So much contention, so much chaos and disorder in the midst of what's supposed to be information. You would think that information would be the thing that binds humanity. However, most people have used information as a weapon for most of history. If you withhold information and you take it to someone else, you might be able to get paid, even though it might betray a different camp. Well, if that camp had paid you more, you wouldn't betray them, you would have given them the information. That just caused a battle. Or you might have some false information that you went and gave someone else just to incense them, entice them. Because you knew they had enough strength to take out not necessarily a common foe, but one that you had no desire to take on by yourself. Information, standing alone, does not mean any harm towards anyone because information is simply data. Now, when you bend and twist and you give a bias to the information and you put your opinion on the information, it's not the same as just straight facts. It's still information. If I tell you my favorite color is black and I want everyone to show up wearing black, and you come knocking at my door wearing 80 different colors except for the color black, you will still be admitted in. However, you didn't follow suit with anything that everybody else was doing. You came to clash. You were told what was expected, and you came to clash, expecting to fit in. Well, when you walk in the room and everyone else is wearing black and you're wearing 80 different colors, now you're standing out. And maybe the whole purpose of that let's all wear black party is so that no one is standing out and we can approach each other on an equal level. I see your name. Quite honestly, it looks slightly Proto-Canaan and slightly Russian characters. I can't quite tell what it says. So I would just grant you welcome, along with Nan 2904, Jesus Varela, Emerson Aguilar. Bienvenido, Hashem Yahweh Elohim, Shalom Barak, Allahu Assalamu Alaikum, wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Our Father's peace, blessings, and mercy be upon you, your families, and your circles, as for everyone here. I want to thank you for being here. Teda, Shukran, Ashante, Gracias, grazie, molto grazie, spasibo. Thank you for being here. When I speak ethics and entrepreneurship, I'm looking at how we are supposed to be banding together as people in order for us to exchange products and services amongst each other. It doesn't take a figurehead standing in front of a microphone and some cameras saying, we all shall move forward this way, and if they don't like it, well, we're going to have a rumble tonight. That is not proper conduct. We were all born to this mud ball. That's the reality that we share in this life. We all share breathing, eating, drinking, and the great big sleep. We all share that the moment we are born to this mud ball. Some of us have been told we are part of a certain group, and there's an invisible line that has a marking for the border and the territory. And as long as you're inside of that line, well, there's protection agents, and they even go outside of the line to protect you even more and to go and help others get that protection. At what cost? And what is this protection? What is this guarantee? Oh, freedom. Freedom of what? Because I share the same reality as everyone else. I must breathe. I must eat. I must drink. I must sleep. I must make sure that my vessel is covered and protected, and then repeat the process until the great sleep. So, what is this freedom that you speak of? What freedom? Freedom of speech. Oh, you devise rumbles at midnight so that I am able to form sounds when I breathe? Interesting. Well, you got the freedom to gather together and protect other people too. Oh, that takes a freedom in order to protect and gather up with other people who need to breathe, eat, drink, and maintain coverage over their vessel. See, I don't need another physical body that looks like me to protect me and then go to somebody else's territory and protect them, because any body walking around looking like me cannot cause the wind to stop blowing, cannot cause the sun to stop moving in the sky, cannot stop the world from rotating. Anyone looking like me cannot change the surface of the earth to where it's 70% land and 30% water. So why would I give a concern about what anyone looking like me wants to say is a granted freedom? Anyone looking like me did not form and shape this mud ball or the cold ball of dirt that rotates around us, let alone that fusion ball of hydrogen in the middle of this particular solar system. No person looking like me made that. Now, I was made in the image of the one who did, not my skin, not my hair, not my appendages, because those are all things that are necessary to be in this reality on this mud ball. This planet that we share is one of so many that the human mind can't count them, can't see them, can't perceive them. So, no, I do not expect any person walking on this mud ball to be able to say or change anything that already been set into place. So let's get back to the situation at hand, which is it's time for a party. Today's party is brought to you by Yahashava Hamashia, the Student's Black Book. Now, I'm not saying that Yahashava Hamashia is the student in this particular instance. What I'm saying is you need to be part of the Black Book. I'm not talking about this particular book. This is my book. And I'm not Yahashua HaMashiach. Not by far. The guy that you all are looking for in Yahashua HaMashiach, as long as you waiting, you're going to be waiting forever. He's not coming to those who wait. If you have a tattoo that says espero on your forehead, I wait. I want. If that's what's on your mind, oh, I'm waiting. He's coming. No, he's not. Not for you. He's coming for the students of the Messiah. That's who he's coming back for. He's not coming for those who wail and make a whole loud noise about how they are praying and how they are asking supplications. And no, he's not coming back for you. You're the same one that was wailing and asking for supplications as people were lifting him up and nailing him to a piece of wood. No, he's not coming back for you. If you think because you're brandishing the symbol of a cross and throwing it in people's face and trying to remind people that there was a man who died on Calvary, no. He's not coming back for you. No. If you think this is about a man who miraculously walked on water, miraculously turned some water into wine, if you think that's what this is about, and he's coming back to save you, go ahead to the tattoo shop and let them put it in bold letters. Espero. I wait. I want. So you've heard of quiere. I want. Yo quiero Taco Bell. Yo quiero que. I'm loving it. No. We're talking about esperar. To wait. To want. You want a savior. You're waiting on a savior. Well, the word for savior also lines up with Hamashia, which is the Messiah. The Messiah would be the anointed one. The anointed one would be the assigned one who teaches you the standards and also regulates that people stay within the standards. So who are you waiting for? And what do you really want? Because that individual did come here before. You've seen him with the name Yahashava. He's mentioned a couple of times as Yahashava in different bodies, doing different functions. And when I say he, the Messiah, that's a title, that's an office. It's a title, it's an office. There's one that we all tend to exalt, and there's an issue there because there's some titles that are given to him that he wouldn't have answered to. One of the main reasons why he was stripped of his life was because of one of those titles that he never called himself. However, people want to call him that all the time. And if you're one who calls him any of those other titles, well, no, he's not coming back for you. How do you like it when you receive a phone call and you look and it's a strange number? I've never heard of you. And then when you answer the phone, they want to talk about some things that you don't want to talk about, and they really are strangers. I don't know who you are. I don't know how you got information. But you're calling me about something that is not out of my jurisdiction. It's something that's out of my concern. No, I don't want the next voucher that's coming out for the next 3 months that guarantees $1,500 to every household. No, I don't want that. No, I don't want your plan for health care. No, I have no plans on buying any tickets to anybody's ball. No, I don't want to watch you play ball. Matter of fact, if you got ball in your name, I'm running away. And once again, how did you get my phone number? And you never did actually call me by the name that's familiar. It's time to end this call. How many times have you found yourself in that scenario? Well, how do you think it feels to be the anointed one? The one who's supposed to lead by example, showing the standard. How do you think it feels to peek in on people and they're calling up on every name except your name? They're asking for all kinds of petitions except for what you are authorized to give. How do you think it feels? And who do you think is going to show up? We've gotten to the point where, no, you are not excused because, oh, you called the name mistakenly, but the proper authority knows your heart. No. Your heart speaks before you open your mouth. No, I can't tell directly what's on your mind just by looking at your face. However, it's going to be hard for you to hide anything that comes out of your mouth after I've looked at your face and you are showing me what you're feeling before you say it. Your heart is going to tell on you. It's not about what you eat. It's about what comes out of your mouth. Heard that one before? Who is your wali? Who is your protector? Even if you call on the anointed one is going to tell you, I still have to call upon a protector. Don't look at me like I'm your umbrella. I need one too. You're going to run up under me for protection, but then what am I supposed to do? Do I look that waterproof to you? Everybody wants somebody to save them. How often have you reached out to help the next person? Not because you found favor in what they look like, smelt like, talk like. No. you reached out to help someone because they needed help? When was the last time you picked up the phone and actually tried to reach out and call someone who is not part of your regular phone list? When was the last time you've called anybody? In the last 76 hours, in the last 76 days, in the last 76 weeks? Who do you actually speak with on a regular basis? And how often do you reach outside that? How do you greet strangers? These are some of the questions that you would be asked if you ran upon Yahashava Hamashia, talking about I'm glad to meet you, Jesus Christ. He wouldn't have known anything that you're talking about. You could speak with him in Aramaic, gaze, proto-Canaan, and by that time there was a form of Hebraic, Avra language by that time, Paleo-Hebrew. The more that I've studied, the more I've realized how much people just make up stuff to fit wherever they happen to be, but it does not pertain in where we're supposed to go. When Adam and Eve were in the garden, they had two sons named Cain and Abel. There was a written language. How do you know? The character Tav was placed on his forehead, so that when he went amongst the other people outside of the garden, they would know he has a wali, he has a protector. Do not harm him. That meant that the people outside of the garden recognized written language. If there was the Tav, there was also Aleph. If there was Aleph, there was Beit, there was Gamel, there was Dalet, Tet, Shin, so on. Mim, Vav, they were all there before Adam. You all want to say in the beginning was the Word. And then you want to say the Word was Yahashava Hamashia. Yahashava Hamashia had to come from somewhere. Same way Adam did. It is said that Yahashava Hamashia is that second Adam. There was the first Adam, and then there's the return of Adam. There are many representations in between. So, Yahashua is not the only Messiah. Adam was a Messiah. And if he was a Messiah and he learned the standards of Yahweh Elohim through Ravak HaKodesh, then anything that he taught his descendants and his descendants lived by and also taught, that made them anointed. If they stood with the character that they are supposed to represent, and they teach other people how to do the same thing, that makes them a Messiah. That makes them a prophet. That makes them a teacher. That makes them a rabbi. And Adam was not a deity. Adam was a man. No one came to Adam and bowed down and worshiped to him and said, "Oh, you are Lord over all." No, that part wasn't necessary because Adam would correct them and say, "No, I am not Lord over all. There is one higher than me. Yes, the angels have been made to bow down to me because I must do the bidding of the one who made us all. I've got a few more gifts about me that the angels don't have. One of those gifts is choice. The more righteous and pious I remain, the more I'm in the image of the one who created us all. However, I'm still a man. So if Adam was a man and he came from mankind and his progeny, anyone who came along and taught the same thing that he was teaching and lived by the same standards that he was living, would be considered anointed and a Messiah because they would show the people how to live according to the will of Yahweh Elohim. That's the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who is in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Which leads us to the next thing. In between Adam and Yahashava Hamashia, there were all kinds of breakups and confusion and people trying to get back together and figure out what the original standard is. And there were letters written back and forth. There were scrolls presented stating, we have leaders in our midst who are claiming to be deities, who are claiming to be lords over everything and giving their own rules. Their rules are not going along with what we have been told Adam said, what Seth said, what Methuselah said, what Enoch said, what Noah said, what Abraham said. Now here we are with Elijah and a few others before and after him, trying to figure out how are we going to get out of this mess that we are in because mankind has decided to agree amongst themselves which rules they want to abide by and which ones can just be put to the side. Well, those who kept up with the standards according to what was taught to Adam were called the sons of man, because those were the sons of the man who had been given the standards. Eventually, those who walked with those standards and spoke according to those standards and lived with it were said to walk the divine path, and they are part of the order of Malachi Zadok. Now, before we get to Yahashava Hamashia, Ibn Mariam, Ibn Yosef, before we get to Joshua, son of Mary, son of Joseph, there's another Joshua. This Joshua walked with Moses. This Joshua was set as a judge, so that when the people did not follow the standards, he was the one that had to tell them, This is the way that it's supposed to be done. If you don't do it this way, then here's the punishment. If you do something of merit, then here's something as a congratulatory gift. It's not from me, it's from our great rabbi, Robert Freely, our most esteemed rabbi, Subhana Rabbi Alassi, all praises. Lord over worlds, the one who made everything. When you live and conduct yourself according to standards, not only will you grow, everyone around you will grow, because you will conduct your life in a manner where you are making sure that everybody else is able to grow. That's how your environment grows with you. That means whatever you're taking in, you also have to give out. It means nothing to say that you have amassed all of these resources if the people around you are going without. So this other Joshua was told he's going to be a judge. And then there was the order of the Levites, who were told they were going to be priests, who would go back and forth amongst the people and into the temple itself, teaching the people the standards of how to be pious and righteous, and also being the communications and the gateway in order to speak with our Creator. As some of these priests rose in rank, they also corrupted themselves in stature. They started taking the names of the deities that were already there. So, in the books, in the scriptures, in the scrolls, it specifically says the birthright that was given to the Levites has been stripped because they broke the promise originally given by Abraham, who happened to have also been a member of the order of Melchizedek. The part of the story you know is he went and killed a bunch of kings who were polytheists, and by the time he met a guy named Melchizedek, by the time he met a guy named Melchizedek, he gives him 10% of everything that he had gotten, everything that he possessed with him and within his encampment. And Melchizedek is this mysterious king, and it means king of peace, and he was king of Jerusalem. No, he wasn't, because there was no Jerusalem then. As a matter of fact, the king didn't have to sit in one spot because there was no king. There was no earthly king that represented the people. The king is the Lord of all worlds. You can't see the king of all, that is the Lord of all worlds, because we're one minuscule speck of dust compared to creation. To see the power, the glory, and the majesty of the one who made us all would blow you backwards and fry your mind, because we have a finite mind. Our mind is small. It cannot contemplate the infinite. You can think about parts of it. You can't take it all in because you are not our Creator. You are a part. You are a piece. So am I. This world is a part, a piece of creation. It is not the center point of creation. Mankind is so egotistical. Mankind thinks that our Creator stopped everything, came to this mud ball in flesh form, and allowed some unruly people. Allowed he got up 3 days later, went and fought a battle in hell just to go back up in heaven to hang out with himself. You think about that. Selah. Have you ever seen a Hebrew Christian? Have you ever met a Hebrew Christian? They're all over the place. You just don't put the two names together. They're everywhere. So you got to choose a side of the fence. Otherwise, you're double minded. And Christianity is very new. Christianity is not as old as being a Hebrew. Being a Hebrew is not as old as walking the divine path. And those that walk the divine path are known as Malachi Zadok. In order to get into the Student's Black Book of Yahashava Hamashia, you must have your information correct. The information that identifies you and the identification information that shows the content of your work. Take the rest of this day and however many other days, because as it is said, your time on this earth is counted just like each hair on your head. So you take your time, each moment of it, contemplate and put into action what your purpose is, what you're supposed to be doing. Because it's not waiting. It's not quoting. Nobody needs for you to quote a line unless you are showing someone how to immediately put it in action. A hungry man is not trying to hear your words of wisdom. It's falling on deaf ears. That means that you turned the words of righteousness into vanity because you're trying to tell somebody some kind of scripture instead of making sure that they have food in their stomach so that they can think with their right mind. When you see someone in need, don't walk up asking them if they are in need. If you see it, go do something about it. Don't wait for a thank you in response. To do that action, you've used your empathy to show compassion. That activity is called love. Abba, Achaba, our Father is love. Stay on task and request from our Father the strength and the focus on Nava. Focus, humility on Nava. Being humble does not mean holding your head down and staying out of the way. It means holding your head down and plowing through. It means holding your head up and looking everybody in the eye with the justification of you knowing you're going to carry out your task. That's being humble. Now, when somebody tries to pull you off the path and you want to react and have a shouting match and see who can spit in the other person's face more, you're not being humble anymore and you're not being focused. If someone wants to stop you and try to say cross words and you stop long enough to say something that's a 14-letter word that they probably would have rather you said a 4-letter word, well, you're still being focused and humble as long as you go right back to the task that you're supposed to be doing. Because that's the will of Yahweh Elohim. And in order for us to get heaven on earth, we, as mankind, must already be doing the will of Yahweh Elohim. Because the scripture says, since the Levites were stripped of their rights and birthrights from the promise, and it was given back to the order of Malachi Zadok. Well, we need to find this city called Yahashava is there, because there, the priests of Malachi Zadok order are the high priests, and they are training the Levites on how to conduct themselves on the way, in the way, of the way. Until this city, Hava is there, is something that we can see and witness and take part of, we're not going to see another coming of this Messiah that you're looking for. You're going to see a whole bunch of false messiahs. Everybody want to come and say that they're going to save the world. No, the Messiah is not coming back to save the world. The Messiah is coming back to cleave off dead branches. If you're not a branch that's here to contribute to the kingdom of Yahweh Elohim, it's time to go. That's the mindset we're supposed to be having. How often has somebody sat you down and told you that? This party is brought to you by Yahashava Hamashia, the Student's Black Book. Today's party was called, ever seen a Hebrew, met a Hebrew Christian? Go out there and have a great day. And while you're at it, make sure somebody else is having a great day because you were part of it. We come from Yahweh. We shall return to Elohim. May Adon be pleased when we return. Hashem Yahweh Elohim, Shalom Barak, Allahu Assalamu Alaikum, Wa Rahmatullahi, Wa Barakatuh. Our Father's peace, blessings, and mercy be upon all of you. Thank you for coming to the party. And until next time, many much love and respect.